Thanks for tuning into the Kevin and Bean Show on a Wednesday. I'm so sad I have not yet had the chance to see The Fighter. It's not actually even playing near me yet, but I've got plans over the holidays. It's opening up wider this Friday, December 17th, and we couldn't be more excited to welcome back to the Kevin and Bean Show Christian Bale, one of the co-stars of the movie. Hey, Mr. Bale, welcome back. How are you, sir?
How you doing, guys?
We are good. Great to talk to you. First off, congratulations on the Golden Globe nomination for you and your friends in the film, man. That was a huge day for y'all yesterday.
Yeah, that was a good day. It was kind of a, it was a straight flush. That was a total surprise for all of us. Wonderful stuff.
I mean, if there's one thing I know about you, it's that you don't look for movies based on how the critics are going to like them or how the awards are going to go. You just look for stories that talk to you. So when it ends up doubling for both, I imagine that just makes it extra special.
It does, but I'm wondering why you think that. Is it because most of my movies get reviewed terribly and get no awards?
No, it's not at all. It's because you have been criminally overlooked when it comes to awards, because guy after guy will say, if anyone deserves an Oscar, it's freaking Christian Bale. I just can't believe you haven't won one. I'm just serious.
Thank you very much. But yeah. I mean, with this movie, I think the thing is that this was a real passion project for Mark, and he had been trying to get this going for 5 years, and there wasn't a single soul on the movie that wasn't really behaving like a filmmaker. Nobody was phoning it in. Right down every single crew member, and it makes such a big difference. And none of us had any idea that it would get the sort of attention that it seems like, maybe it will get. But that is one thing that you can always tell. I'm sure you guys feel it as well. When there's people around who are just phoning something in, it never goes very well.
Yeah.
And with this, everybody was just so into it.
Do you have, I know, you don't look for it, but do you have a sense of people will love this, or do you even get that sense?
I'm the worst person in the world to ask that. I have no sense.
No sense at all.
Of what people are going to like, why people like it, even after they're telling me they like it. I've still got no idea. It's tricky to see the wood for the trees when you're so inside of a movie.
Right.
Sure. We had your co-star Mark Wahlberg on the program with us last week, and he was telling us he's been friends with Mickey Ward for a long, long time, spent a ton of time around him, which obviously makes different challenges when you're trying to play a real-life person. And you had the same experience with Dickie, his brother, that you played. I mean, you spent some real time with this dude, right?
Dickie's a great guy, yeah. No, Dickie's such great company, and he's had a hell of a life. The guy's certainly been right over the edge and come back again, and he's laughing a lot, and imagine if somebody came to you and said they're going to make a movie of your life, and you know what, we really want to show all the worst elements of it.
Right, no thanks.
Most people wouldn't be too happy about that, so it takes a while to come around, but I've watched it a number of times with Dickie. I watched it with Dickie and his sons the other night, and they were laughing their asses off, and they loved it, and I think that made a big difference.
Were you a little nervous? Just because...
What? Because he's a pro boxer and he could just knock me out cold and like it?
No, just you're playing a person and who's sitting there watching you play him.
Thank God, Dickie seemed to enjoy the whole experience. Certainly when he first met me, I could see there was that assessment of who the hell is this guy?
Right.
And then we hung out together in Lowell a whole lot, and Dickie's like the mayor of the streets of Lowell. I would walk down the street with him, and everyone's hanging out the windows, shouting, Dickie, this and everything. And he saw that, I really wanted to get into it, and I wasn't going to be coming up with something that was untrue. Of course, when you're doing a 2-hour movie, you've got to condense.
Right.
Otherwise, it would be a 100-hour movie if we showed everything in absolute context. But I think he's good with it. But I always said, hey, Dickie, we're just grateful that you have allowed us to make this. You don't ever have to love the movie or say you love it or anything. And Dickie's not somebody who would beat around the bush. He would come out with it and tell anybody.
He would say, didn't like it all that much.
Yeah.
This is the voice of Christian Bale on the Kevin Bean Show. We're talking about his film, The Fighter, now in limited release, wider release this Friday. Again, I apologize, Christian, I haven't had a chance to see the movie. It's literally not playing where I live yet. But there are two types of people who deal with promise that is never reached. Like in the Dickie story, where he had the potential to be a great champion and he got derailed through drugs and personal issues and wasn't able to. And you can go one of two ways. You can either roll with the punches and still go on and have a happy life, or you can be a bitter, angry person for the rest of your life and never get over it. Which way did it fall for Dickie?
Well, the thing that I love so much about this movie and also, in times hanging out with Dickie, is he's got such love for his little brother and is so proud of him. For what he's achieved, that I see Dickie as a complete success, because he overcame all of the burden of the expectation of being the breadwinner for the entire family, of being the rising star at too young of an age when he wasn't ready for it, you know.
Right.
And he did a phenomenal thing. He went the distance against Sugar Ray Leonard when he was 21. And to me, that's incredible. But everyone had to make up this extra bit about, yeah, he really knocked him down. When, you know, it was likely that he tripped.
Right.
And that just... I think that just really wore on him. The guy had been fighting since he was 13 years old, had done hundreds of fights, lying about his age, before he was 21. And I think just the burden of the expectations on him derailed him. And he loved to party, and he was incredible because the guy genetically, is still phenomenal. He's in his 50s, and he can just... In training, he trained me. I could never dream of keeping up with him. He was able to, in his heyday, he would be out drinking all night, partying very hard, and then get up in the morning and go jump in the ring for one of his pro bouts and win. But, you know, it caught up with him eventually. But when he decided, you know what, no, enough's enough, even though everyone's telling him that he's the star, it's his little brother. And he made that turnaround, and he convinced the rest of the family it's Mickey that we've got to look at now. Well, he trained him, and Mickey became world champ. So I see that as being a real success story between the two brothers.
We're almost out of time, Christian. We're so grateful you were able to include us in talking about this, the movie The Fighter. I know that it was a passion project for Mark Wahlberg. You know, he grew up around boxing, loved boxing, loves to box. Were you at all familiar with it, or was this stepping into a whole new world for you?
No, I'd never boxed. Absolute appreciation. You step in the ring with a pro boxer, and you know it's tiring enough when they're not hitting you, when they're just saying, "Okay, come at me, come at me, come at me."
Right.
That's exhausting. And suddenly, when they start hitting back, you go, "I really don't belong in this ring at all." I kind of like boxing the same way that most people do. You know, I watch it when the heavyweights are on. And growing up in England, it was Frank Bruno and Barry McGuigan and stuff. But I do love the sport in that it's one-on-one. You know, I've never been great on team sports particularly. I love watching. You just got one guy who's absolutely going to succeed and one who's going to fail, and you kind of see a whole story played out right in that fight. And you can see personalities through the fights as well.
Absolutely. Well, it is the sweet science. The Fighter is the movie, now in limited release, in wider release this coming Friday. Christian Bale, Golden Globe-nominated Christian Bale. Yes, sir.
Let me just ask you one thing. If any of you guys want to get in shape, anybody's in the Massachusetts area, check out dickeklund.com. All right, if you want to go train with the actual Dickie.
Dickeklund.com.
Dickeklund.com. DICKEKLUND.com.
I don't think I have what it takes, but for anyone else.
Christian, always great to have you on the Kevin and Bean Show, man. Have a wonderful holiday season for you and your family. Hope we talk to you next year.
You too, guys. Thanks very much.
KROQ, The Kevin and Bean Show.